Marvel's latest film, Kraven the Hunter, arrives with a bang. A group of prisoners is being transported to Russia's most fearsome prison, housing the most vicious criminals. On his first day, this man shows no fear. Instead, he surveys his surroundings with disdain. After a quick glance, Kraven memorizes the prison's layout. During lunch break, Kraven deliberately enters the territory of the prison's largest gang and starts playing with the gang leader's barbell. Two burly men prepare to teach this upstart a lesson. However, Kraven's strength is astonishing. He lifts both men effortlessly. Eventually, guards take the three troublemakers away, not to the warden's office, but to the gang leader, the prison's true boss. But this is all part of Kraven's plan. He entered the prison to get close to the gang leader, Corny, a ruthless arms dealer responsible for countless deaths. Recognizing Kraven's uniqueness, Corny asks his name. Kraven simply calls himself a hunter. Seeing his arrogance, Corny signals his men to close the door, intending to teach him a lesson. Kraven gently strokes the tiger's head, then suddenly uses its fang to stab a nearby prisoner. He swiftly dispatches Corny's two henchmen, leaving Corny stunned. Without allowing last words, Kraven stabs Corny's neck thrice, killing him instantly. As a guard investigates the disturbance, Kraven throws him down the building without hesitation. He then leaps and climbs up walls, forcibly opening the top-level wire mesh. Having memorized the layout, he escapes to the roof as planned. Kraven easily jumps between buildings tens of meters apart. Guards, witnessing such agility for the first time, increase their pursuit. Kraven jumps from a high wall unharmed, dodging a hail of bullets with his agile movements. Prisoners cheer excitedly as Kraven nears escape. The final obstacle is an electrified fence. Kraven climbs rapidly while dodging bullets, grabs a watchtower's iron pipe to flip over the high-voltage fence, and drops down right under the guards' noses. More bullets fly at Kraven, but he runs like a lion, unscathed. To prevent pursuit, Kraven continues sprinting through the snow. Suddenly, a blizzard sweeps in, and a fierce snow wolf appears. Kraven's pupils turn golden, emanating a lion's majesty, causing the wolf to tremble. After passing through the blizzard, Kraven boards a plane. Ignoring the sub-zero temperatures, he removes his shirt, revealing muscular physique. He casually informs someone on the phone that the mission is complete. Kraven's extraordinary strength dates back 16 years. Then known as Sergei, he was a well-mannered rich boy. His father, Nikolai, was a notorious Russian drug lord known for his ruthless business practices. He wanted his two sons to become brave and tough men to take over the family business. Due to their father's busy schedule, Sergei and his brother Dmitry lived in boarding school. One day, their father came to take them away, informing them that their mentally ill mother had committed suicide. Sergei blamed his father for driving her out 2 years ago, but Nikolai was unmoved, disliking weakness. Instead of attending the funeral, he took his sons hunting in Africa to teach them to abandon unnecessary mercy and be cruel to enemies. Nikolai hoped they would kill a lion that had already devoured dozens of people, believing that killing a legend would make them legendary. The brothers' first prey was this fierce lion. Sergei raised his gun, protecting his brother, and locked eyes with the lion, seeming to form a connection. Suddenly, Nikolai shot the lion, enraging it. It carried Sergei to its territory but didn't treat him as prey, seeming to care for him. A drop of the lion's blood fell on Sergei's wound, witnessed by a girl. After the lion left, the girl poured a magical potion from her grandmother into Sergei's mouth. A rescue helicopter rushed Sergei to the hospital, where doctors couldn't revive him. Miraculously, Sergei came back to life minutes later, astounding the medical staff. Back home in London, Nikolai criticized Sergei for not shooting immediately, endangering his brother, and expressed disappointment in Sergei's weakness. To teach Sergei a lesson, Nikolai cut off the lion's head and hung it up. Angry, Sergei argued with his father and ran away to Russia, returning to the grasslands where his mother had lived. Suddenly, a herd of wild buffalo charged toward Sergei. A strange instinct told him not to avoid them. The lead buffalo sensed a predator's aura from Sergei. Sergei then entered a forest with a glass cabin where his mother once lived. Deciding to renovate and live there, he gradually learned to hunt with spears in the jungle. While chasing a deer, he was amazed to find his running speed nearly matching the deer's, and he could easily leap over 10-meter-wide ravines. A sudden gunshot prompted Sergei to climb a tree with unusual agility and grace. His pupils turned lion-like golden, able to observe events kilometers away with slight focus. He discovered 2 poachers killing buffalo. Rushing over, he found dozens of buffalo killed, their horns removed. Enraged, Sergei immediately executed the 2 poachers with his knife. 16 years later, Sergei, now codenamed Kraven, secretly fights criminals while protecting the grasslands, never sparing any poacher. He crosses off each criminal's name in his notebook after dealing with them. At a funeral, Kraven reunites with Calypso, now a renowned lawyer, who had given him the magical potion as a child. He tells her about gaining lion-like strength and killing Corny, the gang leader responsible for her mentor's death. Kraven hopes for a lawyer partner and shows Calypso his list of criminals, proposing they work together to eliminate these evildoers. Faced with this sudden invitation, Calypso says she needs to consider it. Since Corny's elimination, others have coveted his business, especially the emerging Rhino. Modified by a chemist, Rhino's skin is as hard as a rhinoceros, even bulletproof, though he must inject a special drug to return to normal. With this powerful body, Rhino eliminated competitors and took over Corny's arms business. However, he still fears the hidden hunter, Kraven. Learning of Kraven's affection for his brother Dimitri, Rhino has his men kidnap him. Kraven spots Dimitri being dragged into a van and jumps from the 20th floor. But he's too late. The kidnappers speed away. Barefoot, Kraven chases the van frantically, running onto an overpass to intercept them. The kidnappers change direction, and Kraven crashes through glass to jump onto the road. He runs at full speed, ramming the van with his body. As the kidnappers try to reverse, Kraven leaps onto the van, punching cracks into the bulletproof glass. He climbs to the roof, attempting to break the sunroof, then resorts to forcing open a side window. As he's about to pull out a kidnapper, he doesn't notice oncoming traffic. After losing Kraven, the kidnappers reach a dock and load Dimitri onto a helicopter. Kraven catches up, throwing a rope to lasso the helicopter's landing gear. Incredibly, he holds the helicopter back. The kidnappers open fire, forcing Kraven to take cover temporarily. He grabs a nearby iron rod, hurling it like a spear at the armed kidnapper. As the helicopter breaks free, Kraven refuses to give up. He clings to the rope until an iron pillar on the river surface knocks him away. Watching the helicopter disappear, Kraven curses his lack of wings. Frustrated, he seeks Calypso's help at her law office. Using Kraven's description of the kidnappers, Calypso leverages her connections in both legal and illegal circles to trace them to a monastery in Turkey. Kraven swiftly reaches the cliffside monastery, scaling walls effortlessly and infiltrating silently. He moves like a stalking lion, precisely controlling his positioning to remain undetected. Finding no trace of his brother, he abandons stealth, snapping a kidnapper's neck. The ensuing screams attract attention, sparking an intense battle between the Lion King and gunfire. Kraven parkours around, dodging bullets while counterattacking, remaining untouched. After eliminating the henchman, Kraven dangles the lead kidnapper over the cliff, demanding Dimitri's location. Suddenly, he notices a shell fired from the distant forest. The explosion sends them plummeting hundreds of meters into a ravine, with Kraven shielding him from falling debris. He continues interrogating the leader, learning the Rhino is behind it all. A massive slab then falls, burying them. Moments later, the shell-firing duo approaches the ruins. As they gloat over Kraven's supposed death, he appears behind them, brutally dispatching them. Kraven informs Calypso of the Rhino's trap, instructing her to leave the office and meet at a designated location. Meanwhile, Dimitri is held captive in the Rhino's secret base. Suddenly, a subordinate reports to the Rhino that an unexpected visitor has arrived. The rhino assumes it's Kraven coming for him, but instead, it turns out to be a stranger wearing sunglasses. As the man removes his sunglasses, the people nearby instantly freeze in place. He mischievously turns one person's gun around. When he puts his sunglasses back on, covering his eyes, everyone is released from their frozen state. The man introduces himself as the Foreigner, seeking revenge for his mentor whom Kraven killed. Unable to match Kraven's strength, he proposes an alliance with the rhino. He reveals Kraven's Siberian secret base and offers a special poison to disorient and cause organ failure in Kraven. Kraven and Calypso rendezvous at the glass house. The seemingly ordinary cabin reveals hidden weapon racks at the press of a button. Calypso takes a compound bow, her only proficient weapon. Kraven has been researching the mysterious potion he once drank, but with Calypso's grandmother deceased, its recipe remains unknown. The rhino calls using Dimitri's phone, offering Kraven a choice between collaboration or death. The righteous Kraven hangs up, preparing for battle. The hunt begins. The rhino releases Kraven's brother, letting him run into the forest as bait. A group of mercenaries then enters the forest to set up an ambush, also placing animal traps to deal with Kraven. However, for Kraven, who grew up hunting in jungles, these are mere child's play. He directly slams an animal trap onto a mercenary's face, then swiftly dispatches 2 more mercenaries with his machete. What they didn't anticipate is that Kraven has also set up even more brutal traps waiting for them. Hearing screams echo through the forest, the rhino initiates his next plan. A helicopter drops flares, setting the forest ablaze. Sensing danger, Calypso dons battle gear to assist Kraven. Amidst the smoke, Kraven feels dizzy, hallucinating spiders falling on him. He realizes he's been hit by the poison. The Foreigner appears, removing his glasses, plunging Kraven into hallucinations. Surrounded by the Foreigner's images, Kraven can't distinguish reality, becoming the Foreigner's plaything. The Foreigner informs the rhino's men of his success, preparing to finish Kraven off.
1, 2,
3, motherfucker.
Calypso administers drops of the magical potion to Kraven, reviving him fully within seconds. Believing Kraven dead, the rhino leaves with Dimitri, planning to extort ransom from Nikolai. As they pass through a grassland, a herd of wild buffalo charges madly towards the convoy. Sensing danger, the rhino immediately rips out his foretube and begins to transform. The buffalo herd repeatedly rams and flips the cars. As Kraven charges in from behind, the rhino climbs atop a car, ready for battle, and both men leap into the air simultaneously. Unexpectedly, the rhino's strength surpasses Kraven's. After dodging a heavy punch, Kraven darts behind the rhino and delivers a flying kick, sending him to the ground. Facing an oncoming truck head-on, the rhino shows no fear, using his rhino horn to flip the truck over. An unfortunate mercenary is thrown out, meeting a gruesome end on a buffalo's horns. Seeing his brother safe, Kraven finally fights without restraint. He slides under a truck thrown by Rhino, then pulls out a knife to stab him. However, the rhino's bulletproof skin renders the knife useless, until Kraven's blade becomes dull. It can't inflict any damage, and he even choked by the rhino. Noticing Rhino's foreport at his waist, Kraven violently thrusts an iron rod into it. This indeed proves to be the rhino's only weak point, but the injury is not enough to kill him. Kraven has a sudden inspiration. He yanks out a steel cable from a truck, wraps it around the rhino, and ties the other end to a buffalo's neck. The rampaging buffalo drags the rhino into the herd. Trampled by hundreds of buffalo, the rhino becomes battered and bruised, lying on the ground barely alive. Kraven questions the rhino about the source of the video footage about him. All along, Kraven has operated in secrecy, never leaving any vulnerabilities.
How is it that even the great hunter can't see what was always right in front of him?
The rhino's answer leads Kraven to form an unsettling suspicion. Completely overwhelmed by Kraven's prowess, Rhino offers his final words.
I wish I never met you, Kravenovs.
Later, Kraven confronts his vacationing father, accusing him of betrayal. Nikolai, unable to handle the rhino's competition and knowing Kraven's hatred, had manipulated the rhino into targeting Kraven, risking even Dimitri's life. He believed Kraven would spare him out of filial piety.
Never fear death?
Kraven leaves with a parting word. A beast's roar echoes from the forest. Nikolai reaches for his emptied hunting rifle, too late to reload. On Dimitri's next birthday, Kraven is still by his side. Dimitri has taken over Nikolai's business, networking with mafia members, much to Kraven's disgust. Aware that their father's death wasn't accidental, Dimitri no longer trusts Kraven, seeing him not as a hero but as a trophy-hunting predator. As Kraven tries to explain, Dimitri shockingly morphs into Kraven's likeness. During his time with the Rhino, Dimitri was brainwashed and body-modified to prove his strength. He can now shapeshift like a chameleon, returning home with mixed emotions. Kraven finds a letter in a box left by his father.
Embrace who you really are, and you will have the strength to walk it. You are more than my child. You are me, and I am you.